Are there any affordable suburbs in Brisbane? Where is it worth buying in Brisbane? That is what this session is about. We have Jackie Skein, an amazing property manager from Logan, works all around Brisbane and surrounds as well, and she unpacks suburbs. This session is just suburb breakdown, area, location, data. Why are we going to buy here? Why are we not going to buy here? Should we be buying townhouses in this area? We go through a whole heap of stuff. That's pretty much all this episode is, to be honest. It's just location, because the property market in Brisbane's gone absolutely wild. But is there still opportunity there? Is there opportunity in the 600s, the 700s, the 800s? When you start, spending $1 million on investment property and it's at a, 4%, 3% yield, it gets really costly. So where are the opportunities there? Hey everyone, my name's Joe, and together with Jeff Miles, we created Oz Property Investors, Australia's largest property investment community. We got 83,000 members. Each week we interview top property experts, and tonight is no different. Today, no difference. We've got Jackie Skein on, and we're diving deep into the amazing suburbs. So you know what to do. Subscribe, watch this session, and let us know your thoughts. What areas should we investigate next in Bris Vegas?
And we are low property investors. We bring the big names and we have the big fun. Yeah, that's right. Treat yourself. You're always treating yourself somewhere but Melbourne. Anywhere, but it's too cold in Melbourne. We've got to go north because Brendan, we were saying, he's like, where are we going to move? We've got to move to Brisbane. So, Jackie, it's going to be a huge session tonight. You've got some affordable suburbs you're going to show us. You're going to tell us about deals. We're going to talk about some of the north side as well. So I want to hear some suburbs about the north side. If you want to hear that, because Jackie focuses a lot in the south, but we want to go north as well. So if you want to hear about areas, let us know. And we're even going to unpack maybe how to actually buy to add value in Brisbane. So Jackie, how you going?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. I'm very excited I played tennis yesterday. So tennis, I was a little bit sore after, I haven't played in 5 years. So still enjoy this, but no, excited to unpack pockets outside of Melbourne, because every second TikTok is now about Melbourne, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, whereas there's a lot of interest and excitement in Brisbane. So, but yeah, Joe, how are you going?
Well, mate, I'm very good. Well, there's a whole heap of opportunity in Brisbane as well. Like, I think that some people can just say, oh, it's grown already and there's no opportunity left, but it's not necessarily always the case. Also the population growth is super duper interesting. I was looking at some stats beforehand. They brought on like 406,000 people, which is incredible. In the last 12 months, 134,000 new people coming in. And they got to have somewhere to live. And those people generally have some money and they're going to be pushing up the prices. So it's like, what are we thinking here? And you're an absolute weapon when it comes to the Logan and Brisbane markets, Jackie. So who better to get on to chat to it? Because Jeff's right. I'm hearing a whole heap of talk about Melbourne, but we've got the Olympics coming up for Bris Vegas and Brisneyland. But is there still opportunity? So maybe the answer is no. Maybe you're going to tell us that, Jackie. Maybe you're going to say it's probably run its course and see you later. But I'm keen to unpack.
Yeah, you'll have to wait till the end and wait 2 hours, and we'll tell you the suburbs at the very end. So.
Okay, we're gonna sprinkle them in. I'm not going to tease people like that.
No, I'm joking.
But so for the people who haven't seen Jackie around, Jackie, you are the MD of My Logan Realty. You've been involved in property industry for 13 plus years, working in sales, property management, property maintenance business as well. And now you're running that business. You bought your first property in Logan in 2020. I was going to say 2020, but it's 2015. So you've been investing as long as well, at least I've been. I think, Joe, but you bought yours in maybe 2016, but one or the other. And building out that portfolio as well. So you have a depth of knowledge. So I'm excited. So what we're going to start off with is understanding what are you seeing in the areas that you work to? Give us the lay of the land around Logan, Ipswich, and out to the Bay as well. So what are your vacancy rates like?
Well, interesting that Joe was saying about the huge amount of population coming in, because what I'm seeing, there is a lot of new population coming in. I'm seeing a lot of immigration, particularly into Logan and Ipswich, that kind of, multicultural people. They're coming in. They typically they come in and they rent initially for the first couple of years while they're kind of finding their feet, learning the language. and then they will go on to buy. But heaps and heaps of immigration, and there is still some movement from like Victoria and Sydney, people moving up here still, because when you compare it, the entry level price, what they can sell for down there and then buy for up here, particularly in where the area I live in, we're on acreage, and heaps of interstate people coming up because they can sell for 1.5 down there, buy for like 1.1, 1.2 up here, but then they're on acres and acres and only like 40 minutes out of the CBD. So yeah, combination of that. It's busy though. Like honestly, what I'm finding is busiest properties is an affordable property. So like a granny flat, a 2-bedroom unit, a 3-bedroom house is typically, it's still nuts for how many people we get through, particularly granny flats. Like we had a 2-bedroom granny in Eagleby the other day, 56 applications.
Wow.
56.
56. And it's so hard for us when you get that many and you have 40 people at the open house, because you're like, damn, how do we choose the right person? Like who's the best when there's that much? It's like, oh God, how do you pick?
What's going on with rents anyway? You're sort of seeing that rents have hit a bit of a, because last time we spoke probably 12 months ago roughly, have they hit a ceiling? And is that why you're getting so many applications for that granny flat in Eagleby? What's going on there?
Okay, the point is people can't afford, so the rents are still rising. Like typically most of our rent reviews that are coming up are going up anywhere from $10 to $15 if the owner's really like just chill it, keep it chilled. Anywhere up to like $60, $65.
Wow.
We just did an $80 one the other day in Ormo. Ormo's nuts. That's actually very northern Gold Coast. Very nice little owner-occupier area close to the M1. But, interesting, I'll tell the story. This client, he bought it in like 2018 or something for like 350 grand. Every year we've had this management. I looked back on it. So it was 500 or 460 or something. And then we did a big jump, $180 a week jump.
Wow.
This is all with the existing tenants. And they're happy to sign it because as soon as they look at the comps online, they're like, yeah, well, we don't want to leave this area. This is what they're worth. So it was like 460 or something, went up to like, 180 a week jump. And then the following year we did a 50 a week jump. And then this year we just did an 80. So it's up to 770 now. That same tenant in the last 4 renewals.
That's very similar across. I mean, I've seen rents of properties. I've got 350 now up to that sort of 620 mark even for a townhouse, and you're buying these. People are buying these properties at 300 sort of bucks, and it's just because like rents are just and we're talking sort of 10 to 15 minutes to the city. So I haven't been to Brisbane post COVID. So what is traffic like up there these days? Is it getting worse and worse? I imagine. I know it's a random question, but there's a purpose to my question.
Yeah, well, I don't go anywhere unless it's between like 10 and 2 in the day because it's just in peak hour. Honestly, it's terrible. It's really because where we are, like 10 minutes past us is like Flagstone. That's a brand new estate. They are pumped like so many houses in there. And then they have like Pebble Creek, another estate. So they haven't really upgraded the infrastructure. You still have like the old Mount Lindsay Highway, which is 1 lane in some sections, sometimes 2. But they've dumped an extra probably 12,000 houses in the last couple of years out there. So one of these roads, like the main road to get into Flagstone, which is precedented to have like 42,000 lots in it by 2042 or something. That's a rural 1 way in, 1 way out road. And the road floods and they're still able to, but people are buying out there, and even like the rents in that estate have continued to go up. So people are, they're still buying in there and still wanting to rent in there.
What's driving it? Like, is it the affordability of these things? Is it desire? It doesn't sound like it's desirability for the area because you haven't really sold me on the location.
Well,
but what's driving it?
Yeah, I suppose to live in a brand new estate, and there's a couple like that. Like there's some in like Logan Reserve, Yarrabilba, Flagstone. They're all kind of set out. They're like Lent lease communities. where you have parks, no yard, walking trails and those kind of things. But some of those 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom houses in there, double garage, maybe only like $585 to $625 a week for a house. So rather than them paying comparable to what you'd pay for a 3-1 in Woodridge, Kingston, they can go, all the way out there and get a bigger house for around the same price. But it does work if you're working from home or something like that. If you commute, I don't see the value in it. But yeah, that's the thing. It's like there's not people, because you got to, from the rental perspective, is people in their hands need to earn a third of the rent a week. So put it this way: if the rent's $500 a week, they need to be making in their hand $1,500 clear after tax.
Okay.
So that's only. It can be really hard if they're not working. So if you have a single mum and she's not part-time supplemented, she doesn't get child support. Say the dad doesn't pay any child support. On the paper of that, she can only afford like $400 a week. And like that 2-bedroom granny we were talking about, that was $450. And it's nuts. So the point is that if you're not working and you're a single person, very hard. Even like we've had quite a few like pensioners, they're just on the age pension, maybe they're single. Like on paper, they can afford like $220 a week in rent. But there's nothing that's that price anymore. You can't get it. Yeah. So that's a real problem.
Yeah. Well, like I'm looking at the data here, like the vacancy rates in Logan are like 2% and below. Do you see that changing anytime soon? Like 30, 40 applications, 50 applications is just an absurd amount of demand.
It's only demand. The demand is because of the price. It's like if anything's under that $550 a week, it's nuts. But then as you start creeping into, say, for example, $700 a week, you got to be making 2-1 in your hand after tax. If you're a single person without a partner, that's a decent income, like 2-1 in your hand after tax. That's good. But not a lot of people make that. Most people are only on $1,200-$1,300 a week. So that's actually the real crisis. Like they need to figure out, it's not about like building new houses. It's about like building affordable properties that people who are, in that tax bracket can actually afford to live somewhere. That's kind of I know we weren't expecting to go down this route, but that's actually the problem.
It's interesting you sort of say that because how do we then sort of, because there's all this talk about first homeowner grants that are going to come in on the 1st of October. I don't think that the challenge is, it's great that if you've got on $1 million property, if you've got $50,000 in your pocket, that's fantastic. You got that. But can you borrow $950,000 to be able to buy that property? That's the question and that's where I think there's sort of, it's purely a bit of smoke and mirrors. But anyway, we'll get off that soapbox. So
Jackie, I agree with that, what you said there.
As somebody, it's like, it's nice it's a feel good thing. It's like, okay, great. I can get into a home for $50,000, but can you actually, and what can you afford? How much does your dollar go to?
And what's your repayments every week? Like I have one of my assistants, she bought a place out of Boona, which is, it's probably like a solid hour and a half out of the CBD, and they bought and they're building for $600K. She's doing like a 10% deposit, and the repayments are over $1,000 a week. Like that's heavy. So what I want to say is, and we'll get into some of the affordable areas that you're sort of seeing out there, and then I'll even sort of, I told Joe we need to overlay some of the data because you have the real world on the ground, what's happening in these areas, but I want to see how it correlates, and hopefully it correlates a little bit. I think we'll do it. We've said we're going to do it now, so we have to do it. But Jackie, what are you seeing in terms of, you said you see a little bit on the sales side. What are you seeing out to the Bay? I know you said it's not that affordable out there, but what are you seeing in Ipswich? What's happening? You're getting 50, 100 people at open homes, or is it down to sort of 20 to 10 around the traps? Again, I think it's for those properties that are under that kind of like 800, 750. They are very busy. Townhouses, like I don't do much in sales, but I had a sale recently because it was just too easy not to list it. in Kingston. So it was on Cognac Court, which was rated the worst street in Queensland 5 years ago. So put it that way. Fuller Housing Commission. I did one open house. We had 15 offers and 100 people through the open house.
Wow.
Mm.
Just
Yeah,
because
it was
it's
nuts.
affordable. Right.
Just because it's affordable. Yeah. So those kind of, that was nuts.
Yeah, I think a lot of this is getting very interesting, this whole property market thing. I think there's a lot of rules that people have that like we've been going for over the last 30 years in the property space but things are going to change. It's going to not, like what used to work in the old days is now not going to work in the new days going forward. Actually, rooming houses, are you seeing many of those pop up? Because that's a very affordable product.
Yes, No, not that much. You know what's a shame? I see the rooming house off the plan builds, and I love it as a product for people, especially for like women over 50. You could have like 3 or 4 of them in a house. Like that's a really safe and nice, affordable property that someone could be in long term. I'm just seeing the build prices to be cooked for like an extra 2 en suites. They want an extra 400 grand. It's like, what's happened here? They see, because there's a lot of like spruikers in the rooming house, but I love rooming house because it's affordable. You know, that's split in a way where it's appealing for the investor. They've got multiple streams of income coming in, and it's affordable for the occupants who are going to rent it. So I think it's a win-win, but the build prices are cooked and you don't see them they're not that common.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
That's okay. It's where I suppose you outsource it to somebody else, Joe. Don't worry. Where you're doing it yourself, we'll be able to build that rooming house for a good amount for what you've budgeted for. So if you've watched the Oz Property Portal, that's what we're talking about there. But Jackie, we're at 15 minutes in. I know there's a whole big bunch of suburbs. We're going to talk to some of the areas, the data as well, and also some how you add value as well. So which of the suburbs are you seeing? Here's the moment we've been waiting for. What are we looking at? Which areas?
Let me bring up my phone. I did a little bit of research in preparation.
Yep.
Here we go.
We need some music.
So this is one of my favorite suburbs. It's in Logan, obviously. I actually rented there back in 2014. Nice little area called Bethania.
Bethania, also known as
Bethania.
I should know. Yeah. Okay, Bethania. You going to bring it up there, or am I bringing it up?
Why? I got it here. Why do we like Bethania?
I like it because big block sizes. You can still pick up a house like this one just sold for $670. It did need it. When we're talking about affordable people as well, we're talking kind of for houses, in my opinion, is under that like 750, 700 if you can. Under that kind of first homeowner bracket, that kind of area. So like this place, just a 3-1, a high set. You got very central access. Like it's not far into the CBD at all.
What's the address?
This is 59 Glastonbury Drive, Bethania.
Glastonbury. I know Glastonbury. Yeah.
Yeah.
In Scotland.
Like this is a renovator, but I don't mind this as a project for the long-term capital growth. And a property like this, you can pull multiple levers on as well with like the reno. It's definitely got granny potential.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's a very, very flat block as well. Needs a bit of love. This is very
$670 for this.
$670. Jeez. You would have been able to pick that up when we were sort of looking at about that sort of $450 mark. Jeez, what do you reckon your reno budget, Jackie? What do you see that it would cost you to reno that?
So paint, flooring, kitchen, we'll do electrical upgrade, blinds, bathrooms passable, so that's fine. So you'd probably say under 30. Maybe get it for like 22, 23 grand.
That's how are you doing a reno for that cheap these days? Like you doing a kitchen, like paint?
I got a kitchen guy. He's doing kitchens for me now for like 13 grand, including appliances. Got a hybrid guy. He's doing a full house for about 6.5. My painter, Alan, used him for 10 years. He'll paint that for 5. So yeah, there's around about that's what you'd pay for something like that. But it's also, what I like about those products is you could put a granny flat on, and then there's an affordable housing option as well.
Yeah. But also that's a massive amount of, like, how much are granny flats nowadays? Because I know it changes region to region. What would a granny flat cost you?
On that, you could probably do it for like 180, 200 through a normal builder. But I am seeing, this is interesting, I'm seeing approval for that more of like the donga style where you build a deck on it and that kind of thing. As long as you kind of pay the infrastructure charge to the council and it's like still to the building standard, you can build them for way cheaper. So
is that infrastructure charge still 15,000 or has it gone up to 20 or what are those?
It's like last time I checked, it was like 22 grand from the council.
Yeah. The heyday for granny flats in Logan was sort of 2020, 22. I don't know when they brought that infrastructure charge in, but that was when you could build them without having, and it makes sense because there were just so many that were being built. And it's just like, how do you provide for those extra people, influx of citizens? You need to provide garbage, roads, all that. Roads are state government, I suppose, but yeah.
Yeah. But in saying that, like the end product of something like that, say you do spend 200 grand on the granny. I've got clients who are selling granny and house combos in Logan for like up to 950 these days. So it still stacks up. And then obviously
Logan's one of those places where the data, like where where it costs, you get more value, more bang for your buck with a granny flat. You build a granny flat for, let's say, 200 grand all in, 250 grand all in. Yeah. And rents for 500, 450. And then you resell it all and you sell it for more than what you would have originally come up with as their parts. A lot of areas in Australia, what we see is buying a house with a granny flat existing is less than the value. So if the front house is 500, you've paid 200 grand for the granny, it won't sell for 700. It'll sell for 620, 650, or even 600. But in Logan, it's very strange. Like you really do get good value out of a granny.
And most of these products don't even hit the market as well. They're all sold off market, 950. Like investors are loving them.
That one, if you could, like I think the average person will probably be paying 50 or 60K reno on that to be because you're doing a fantastic job if you're getting that reno for 30K.
But I don't reckon, because a kitchen, like obviously you want to shop around before committing, but like even a kitchen you can do for about 20. Like that's not a huge, like obviously guys, if you're organizing your own reno, get multiple quotes and find the best value. But like say 20 for a kitchen and then paints about just say seven for the floors. Yeah, maybe like 45 worst case.
Yep. Yeah. Fair enough. To talk to some of the data just quickly, the thing that concerns me touch about Bethania, and you spoke to it as well, Jackie, it's you really like that below 750 or even below 700 if you can. Look, it's going to be hard to secure a house for that, but the affordability is really getting up there, the affordability index. You're talking like close to 55 years to own, which we're sort of, but that's based on a typical price of nearly 800,000. So if you're able to pick something up that below 700, which is going to be tough, admittedly, I must admit. But you're then sort of seeing, if you look at vacancy rates, still below 2%, as Joe said, rented to owners still pretty good. ERSAD's is low. We kind of know that about some parts of Logan. And even you look at days on market, it's still pretty reasonable. Very low stock on market, incredibly low stock on market still, and it's trending down. So that's why you're seeing 50 people at open homes still buying these types of properties as well. Vacancy rate ticked up a little bit, but you kind of expect that because rents have increased and if people still want to see their rents increasing, they may just have to adjust their expectations a little bit as well, I reckon.
I mean, it's done well. In the past 3 years, it's risen 48, 49% in the past 3 years, which is a substantial amount of, like a ridiculous amount of growth. Imagine buying something and going up.
That's just the median as well, Joe. Imagine if you're like going in and snagging a deal at 250, 300,000 a couple of years ago. You're talking, it's now sort of 650, 700. So you're talking 70 to 100%. So yes, it's grown a lot. And that's where I like your approach, Jackie. You're going in there. If you're buying the there's not pretty in profit in that sort of market. I don't know, disagree if you want, Jackie, but I think it's finding that renovator to add that value if you're comfortable taking that type of project.
Yeah, I don't think anything's pretty and profitable. That's where I think all of these affordable locations we're going to go through is, and same, I'm going to touch on like townhouses and those kind of things. You should be wanting to buy the ugliest thing possible that cosmetically is super ugly. Obviously not structurally ugly with termites or anything crazy, but like where it's going to turn off a lot of people, because that's where you can create your value instantly. Or like quickly.
Is the value still there? So this Glastonbury, right? It just sold for 670,000. Once you've done the $30,000 reno, what do you think it would actually be worth when you've sold it?
I think very high sevens, maybe in the 8s, something like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably wouldn't take it on as a flip project, Joe. I'd do it as an equity extract kind of.
I think you'd. A lot of these areas are kind of like renovate, rent out, wait. I think that's kind of the theme of like, because also this is the Olympics coming up. Like when you look at the data for Sydney, it was like 91% growth in the 3 years leading up to it and the year after the Sydney Olympics. So I couldn't imagine why it wouldn't be comparable to that.
There's not a lot of comps. Oh, you're still looking at on the market. You're not looking sold, Joe. Yeah,
well, no, it's good just to see what is.
Yeah. A lot of things under offer, aren't they, as well? Which kind of just talks to exactly what Jackie's saying. Like, I'm just amazed. I think that the thing that's kicked Brisbane into the market, yes, there's the talk of the Olympics, but there's also just those couple of like free rate cuts we've had now. I think people are like, well, yes, it's still, there's almost nothing on the market, is there, Joe?
I'm finding the drive in Brisbane is driven a lot by first home buyers, actually. Like there's a lot of people who are desperate to get into the market. First home buyers and, people owner-occupier style.
There's not a lot of high sets, is there?
There's not very many. That's what I'm trying to find. I'm just trying to find a comparable high set. But they love a low set brick here.
A lot of high sets kind of up towards Crestmead, and I think that's where we saw a few. But yeah, I think I tend to agree with you, Jackie. I reckon you sort of get them at that high sevens, particularly evaluation. If you're looking at doing a full valuation, maybe, but based on what the suburbs done, I think you sort of in a couple of months you'll see it at that sort of 780. So and the rent, so good little find there, Jackie. You've done your research for sure.
I've always liked Bethania. But that kind of deal is replicatable in a lot of these kind of Logan suburbs. Like for example, there's a client that just bought a house in Woodridge. He bought it for $585, I think. And he did a 30 grand reno, and I rented it for $685. So that was just settled, just been rented. So that kind of strategy you can do in most of those kind of like Kingston, Woodridge, Marsden, Bethania, Beenleigh, like those kind of areas. If you buy something ugly, you'll get a better rent, and you should get at least a 50, 60 grand equity uplift immediately. But the goal is with all of these would be like a 7 to 10 year hold, I'd say.
Yeah. And we'll just point out, because people are saying in the comments, yes, there is flooding in Logan. You have to always do due diligence. So I personally haven't looked at Glastonbury, the flood zones, but I'm sure, that's the kind of thing you always need to look at. And that's probably where some of those lower price. Oh, wow. They've really upgraded their user interface here. The
interactive mapping's very good. There is flooding in the Logan River goes through Logan, put it that way. So there's flooding in a heap of different suburbs. A lot of it is kind of regional flooding where there are like big acreage properties and they fill in. But like for example, we just said Flagstone has how many thousand houses? The front of that estate floods. Like you can't even get into that estate during a flood event. So
much easier. They've complicated a little bit, have they?
they've got some
side overlay,
multiple buttons. Well, that's the flood assessment area. But yeah, the point I wanted to bring this up was because it's so handy. This Logan hub really gives you a good breakdown. It's good because it gives everyone kind of access to the same data, so you can all be the same. Like you can all see what's going on. But like if you do zoom out, like actually, can you talk to this a little bit more? I don't know if you can, but like they've got different mapping concerns. So they have the yellow, the dark blue, the light blue, and the red. Obviously the red means like super, you're super swimming. But are you concerned about this yellow buffer zone? Because they've just recently, well, I'd say just recently, about a year ago or so, just put this new flood mapping over everywhere. So like I bet back a year and a half ago, it would have just been cut off here and this street wouldn't be in a flood zone, but now it is. How do you think about this?
Yeah, it's everywhere. Honestly, you look at in Meadowbrook, it's bloody right next to the Logan Hospital and like main roads and the main motorways flood. Like it's taking the piss. Honestly, they've gone too far with it because but in saying that, the insurance isn't even that bad. Like we've got a property that's got a tiny flood overlay at the back and I only pay like $1,700 a year for building insurance on that place.
Instead of what?
So, yeah, which I think's fine for like.
And would that be the yellow, the one you're talking about? Is that the yellow or the blue that's over the back of the yard?
It'll be the blue for this property, but yeah, it's one of those things where there is definitely pockets in like Waterford and Bethania because the problem is if you build, you can't rebuild if the house goes flood affected. So you don't want to see any kind of overlays on the house. But the interactive mapping system, there's a whole like petition about it at the moment because it is so insane.
Interesting.
Yeah, well, it does affect. I mean, it does affect the saleability of the asset, right? Like if you see as properties in a flood zone, people have rules: no bushfire, no floods, no easements, no encumbrances, and you just tick it off. You're like, okay, great, I can't buy that property. I'm not going to pay a premium because it's got a flood overlay on it. And if it's just BS because some town planner decided to get a little excited, maybe it's not the right way to go.
I just wanted to bring stuff about the renos, Jackie. So Heather Jordan, who's done a reno too, she said the reno price is a thumb emoji, so on point. She said for size and finish, if you're paying more, need to consider what you're paying overs for. Maybe it's higher quality, bigger size. Maybe you're paying full retail with builders' margins. So yeah, it's good to hear that sort of feedback in the comments. Because it's important because prices have gone up, but you just have to realize, or I have to consider, are you being sort of taken for a ride with the prices you've been given potentially?
Yeah, they have, like, for example, a bathroom. I used to get a bathroom in 2020 for like $9,000 with medium finishes. And then these days it's like the cheapest we get a bathroom for is $18,500, which is considered fairly cheap. But we're talking like basic of the basic. Everything is like super basic. So, and you got to think about these houses in Logan, like there's some of them a lot were built in the 80s and 90s, which means those bathrooms are 40 years old now. If they haven't been done.
Yeah. I'm just mindful of time. We're already half an hour. Where else shall we go? Because I love this interactive, and we promised North side. So which parts of the North do you want to unpack? So Joe and I will do a bit of a data deep dive into the most popular area.
Yeah, go North side. You guys know better.
No. I mean, I don't know about better, but we know data somewhat. So, I mean, we bought a few up there, Joe, as well.
Well, any other opportunities that you're seeing in Logan? I mean, we kind of touched on Bethania. Any other, like, where are your? Yeah, this is if I was to, if I had 750 or less.
I would put a blanket rule for, like I said, anything with reno potential. You can get it for under 750 in Eagleby, Beenleigh, Marsden, Woodridge, Logan Central, Kingston, for those ones. For houses you're looking at renos, I don't mind a townhouse at the moment as a product as well in those areas because it is, I don't know if we want to circle back to this, but I don't actually mind some of the figures on the townhouses as well for affordable investments.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on because I imagine the townhouses in a lot of these areas, they've probably seen a little bit of growth, maybe a lot of growth actually. Yeah. Do you still sort of see that? Is the reason people are still buying townhouses because, or not still buying, but they're wanting to get into that because to buy a house, and even Ipswich pockets of issues. You're paying 750, 800, 850.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what's driving these sort of prices?
Yeah, I think it's a natural progression. Obviously, the houses obviously had a huge run, and then townhouse typically follow behind. But again, it's an affordable product. It'll never be vacant. People are always going to rent it. You're going to get, I'd say, fairly reasonable rent increases per year. Again, you can buy a townhouse that was built in the 80s or 90s that's due for that reno, get it pretty ugly, prettied up, and then rent it out. And like some of those, there's a very wide range of products for townhouses that you could buy under 600K.
Well, yeah, literally just this comment.
Joe's looking at it now.
There's a comment that just popped up. I've got it's just disappeared. $600,000. Where would you put your money if you have $600,000 budget?
$600,000. I'd probably consider buying like a townhouse in Woodridge or Kingston, something like that. Like, for example, there's one here I pulled up today. 5/20.
Oh, sorry. How do you go on 5/20, 5/20?
5/27 Southgate Drive, Woodridge. It's on for offers over $499, but it's actually a freestanding villa.
Okay.
It's perfectly livable how it is, but yeah, you could replace the carpets, tidy it up a little bit. But that thing, honestly, it's a 3-1. It'll probably be renting. If you just freshened it up with paint and carpets, you could probably rent it for $525, $550.
So it's 5/20. What was it? Sorry, Jackie.
5/27 Southgate Drive, Woodridge.
Oh, there it is. Yep. So
because I don't mind a product like that, honestly.
That's the best photo of it, is it? That's the best photo they got.
I was going to show you the shed photo and be like, you can buy this place for $500,000.
It's actually not. Yeah, it's not as bad. Why do they have to get that ugly photo? Like, yeah, you got the shag pole carpet kind of through there. Jackie, the elephant in the room, Woodridge, Logan Central. What are you seeing in terms of the demographics these days? Is it starting to change? Has it changed? What's going on there?
Look, someone once said to me, I wouldn't live there personally, but that doesn't mean other people wouldn't. So, like, for example, my husband grew up in Kingston and his parents lived there for 27 years, never had a problem. Yep. So a lot of like working people, super central, like you're talking about being in the middle of the day. If you go into the CBD, you can be in there in like 25 minutes. So it depends on, there's lots of nice working people in there that you have no trouble with at all. Yep. And that's the majority. But yeah, obviously, like anywhere, you might get that like 5% of troublemakers that don't pay their rent or trash the place. But as long as you have landlord insurance like Terry Shear, like, does it really matter? Like, just
yeah, that's what your insurance is there for, right? One of the things I just wanted to touch on is you mentioned I don't mind this type of product when it comes to the townhouse side of things. So what I'm seeing on this townhouse specifically is you own this allotment of land. So is this really like, this is technically like considered a townhouse, but it's like a detached house, isn't it? Like you do own a small bit of land. What's the kind of product that you're like, oh yeah, no, avoid that type of townhouse?
I definitely don't like apartments. Apartments suck in general. I don't mind a townhouse in a small complex. Typically brick ones are better. And you don't want a huge complex with pools and all kinds of weird stuff. Like you don't want any more than ideally like 22, 25 units in there.
That one looks like maybe one you might avoid. Nozenia in Woodridge. Oh, yeah, it's a development site. There you go on. Sorry, Jackie.
Yeah, but in saying that, like everyone's got a problem with paying body corporate levies. That little villa, $410 a quarter, mind you, the body corporate includes your building insurance.
Yeah,
which you would typically pay $1,500, $2,000 a year as well. So for you to have your building insurance covered in that, it's not actually that big of an expense. So yeah, you want small complexes, ideally without pools and those kind of recreational things. You don't really, the gated ones, can be good and not good, because I've also seen a gate repair be like 50K. So don't know about a gate, but something smaller, 80s, 90s, early 2000s build where you can add value, renovate it. It's never going to be vacant. Trust me. There's always going to be someone looking for affordable housing in Logan.
Yep.
For sure.
One of the questions that pops up, and kind of we're talking about the demographic shift. So someone popped in the comments, won't that 5% troublemakers be priced out shortly? So as property prices increase, people of the lower socioeconomics and that might be people that might be causing trouble will get pushed out into further away places that are a lot more affordable. Do you actually see that in reality, or how do you?
It's
think
more the
about
housing
that?
commission. It's a housing commission, though, Joe. It's not so much. I mean, yeah, people will have to move areas, but go on. Sorry, Jackie.
Yeah, well, heaps of housing commissions being sold off in Logan as well. It has been progressively like that, and even we deal with housing commission, my agency, and they're not even doing the head lease agreements anymore. They used to rent properties for people. They've cut all of them now. So I don't know what's happened to that funding, but yeah, do we see people moving to more affordable areas, like maybe pushing all the way out to like Leichhardt, past Ipswich, those areas? Yes, potentially. But it's the ones that are, there could be teenagers still living at home, and there's a big problem with drug use, I would say, in Logan. That's probably a big factor that that a lot of trouble and domestic violence and stuff comes from that. So yeah, that's I wouldn't say area specific, but that is a problem. I spoke to the police recently about it, and they said that it is becoming less, but it's still, that's kind of the main factor for it.
Yeah. Okay. We're spending a little bit of time on Logan. Let's pop out, and Gurav wants us to talk about. He's saying he loves how we're going so micro, like to the house level. Gurav, he's full of compliments tonight. It's because they're talking about his hometown, Brisbane, Vegas. But he said Upper Coomera and Pacific Pines. That's definitely. I don't think it's affordable that much down that way, but
it's expensive. Like you'd be buying a house for like 900 these days, maybe high eights in those. It's nice. Don't get me wrong.
I would have thought it would been pushing $1 million now. You can get
something. It would be million for sure. Yeah, that would be like the cheapest end of it for sure, but definitely not affordable for, as a rental product. But people still rent them for sure.
Yeah, and they'd probably rent for your 700, 750, maybe 800, or would it go?
Probably like 850. Depends on what it is. If it's super nice, maybe as high as like 950.
Yeah.
But yeah, they'd probably still be around that 800, 850 easily.
Yeah, I was talking Runaway Bay, which is definitely not Coomera or Pacific Pines. A little bit nice up beyond that. And so I was saying they reckon they could rent something up for $1,200 a week. And yes, the properties were at that 1.4, 1.5 million. That's definitely not affordable, but that's the sort of spectrum you're sort of starting to get at Brisbane, Brisbane and surrounds. So where are you liking in Ipswich anyway, Jackie? And then we'll maybe
speaking of floodplains, I've always liked, there's a little suburb called Gales. Nothing sells in it though, so it's not very relevant. Gailes, very flooding.
I saw that on a podcast the other. Was that the Welsh one, the Welsh name? Gale.
Yeah, I've always liked it because it's like so convenient. Honestly, like this house sold on the 5th of August to Karina, Karina Street in Gales. Sold for $620, brick. It's fully renovated. Like, just there's nice little product there, and there's 25 Ks to the CBD.
What's insane about that? Somebody bought that property in February of 2021, so 4 years ago.
Wow,
for $271, and then sold it. So more than doubled their money in 4 years. About 4.5 years. That's
insane. They would have done that reno for sure, but yeah, that's what they were. I should have bought 15 of them back in. I always liked that area.
It doesn't look like an expensive reno either. You would be able to do that for maybe the bathroom would have been a little bit more expensive. So probably 30, 40, depending on when they did it.
Wow. $350,000 worth of equity, 128% capital growth. And that is a super basic reno. Like there is nothing nothing special about. And also it's a very cheap product as a house, right? Like they've got like the joins on the plaster. Like this is a super affordable dwelling. It's brick,
Yeah,
but
but
not
you know what's
brick.
great? Even at 620 for that product, like you drive literally 5 minutes, you're in Sumner, Mount Omni. That's $1 million suburbs. Like it's just inevitable that those areas are going to push up those surrounding areas. But to be honest, this property is kind of close to a creek, so I reckon the backyard would flood or something.
Yeah, that's a, and you're getting a little bit, close to the Brisbane River, depending on which part of the suburb you're going to. If you're getting close to the golf club, how does a golf club go when you get a bit of rain? Is that I imagine that probably doesn't go too well. Walston Park Golf Club is probably in a bit of trouble when it floods or when it rains.
Probably, yeah. But you know, these floods, they don't happen regularly, and it's only really an event of like 3 to 4 days where everything kind of gets shut down. It's like hectic, as long as the house doesn't flood, in my opinion. But everyone's got their, I'm quite a risky person, so don't go off just what I say. I also like
sorry, go Joe.
No, it's super affordable. 725,000. You're right. Like location wise, it's in such a great little spot. I've never been there, but yeah, it seems like a winner.
But so close to the CBD as well. Like that's actually, you know,
there is 2 things on the market, one for auction, one under offer already. So as you say,
is that a 6-bedder for 750?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, under offer. Yeah.
A duplex?
It looks like a duplex. It looks
the thing that can you'd really need. So they're saying the typical price for that, $650. Yes, over the last 5 years, they're saying it's grown close to 150%. So
Gales.
sort of Gales, Ursads, so it's a lower socio again. Vacancy rates a touch high, but not a lot of stock on market. Affordability is definitely getting up there. So you need to be, I suppose, positioned. Oh, you're looking at it now today, Joe. So it's touched up a little bit. But I suppose there's potential opportunity. You just have to be careful as to not sort of getting too excited and paying like 750 or 800 in these type of suburbs. I think you need to. That's what you probably think as well, Jackie, I imagine.
Yeah, like that property, you'd probably be lucky to get 550, 575 for it. So it's still going to be negative. As a
everything's
that was everything. It's kind of the trend.
Where else in Ipswich are we going? Because I think is Bellbird Park one of the
I decided I kind of skipped Bellbird Park, even though we discussed that cool deal there. It seemed like an anomaly for the area. There was so many that like mostly around 800, 900K. I like Darra. It's actually in Brisbane City Council, Darra.
Yeah, it's famous for the boy who swallowed the universe. That's where that was sort of that fictional thing was made. But do you reckon Darra is affordable? Because it's become it's really
I found a couple that had sold recently. One that's 26 Markham Street in Darra. It's on the market for offers over 650.
Yeah.
I didn't mind that because also you're talking like very central to the CBD for that area as well.
Yep.
And then another one on the market for offers over 699. So there's definitely deals out there for sure.
Yeah, a lot of people will look at this and say, "I wouldn't live there. I'm not buying it." That's the kind of mindset they look at it as, and not sort of realizing and saying, "Well, okay, well, yes, what are similar properties selling for?" Because can you sort of see? Can you? Yeah, and maybe there's because it's that affordable, as we say, the last affordable suburbs to consider looking at in Melbourne, and that's affordable because then other people aren't going to be able to buy that 850, 900 property, and they'll say, okay, look, I can afford something that's not as pretty. So that's kind of, the way you're looking at it, I think, Jackie.
And a lot of these properties are like 3-bedroom, 1-bathrooms, but you see a lot of the houses in the areas are 4 and 5-bedroom, 2 bathrooms. So obviously the median's nuts, but if you can get that that also shows that there's a big opportunity maybe eventually to make it a 4.2 because there is such a huge price disparity between them.
Yeah.
So that's what you'll find in all of these suburbs, really, that the difference between a 3.1 and a 4.2 can be pretty dramatic.
Yeah, and if you can just pop a wall up, it makes a. And do you see actually? That's a good question. If you see much of a difference between a house that was originally a 3.1 or a 3.2 and then converts into a 4.2, like, does it jump up that much more in rent if you do these type of things from a rental perspective? Yes, on paper it adds value, but does it actually? Because what you're doing is you're taking away a room, like a lounge room, because the place has 2 lounge rooms, and then you're putting a wall up. You're adding a bedroom, yes, but you're also taking away a wall. I mean,
depends. I've seen some ugly conversions where the living is then impractical, and then you actually lose more people because it's like, hey, there's no living area properly anymore.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
I'm not the biggest fan of taking from internally. I love the 2 things. One is a high set. If you can get it legal height underneath, that's golden. Wrap it, fill it in. The other is the garage conversion versus like taking from internally, because if you're making it a 4.2, that people expect a decent sized lounge, if not a second living area, when you're renting for a 4.2. So so specific to the deal, really.
Yeah, there's so many questions. It's hard to keep track. Like the comments is absolutely buzzing. People, I'm very surprised. I think they're just over talking about Melbourne, so we don't need to do any more Melbourne sessions, do we? People are saying Gales and Wacol, I wouldn't live there. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't live in most of the place I own investment properties, to be honest. And and some people would say they wouldn't live in the area that I own my PPOR, but it was affordable. And subsequently people have flocked to and it's next to a really nice area. So it's interesting people sort of say that, and that's okay. I maybe if you can't find, because I know, sorry to call you out, Jen, she's been looking for properties and just missing out and saying that they're just the quality of these at $1 million that she's looking in Brisbane, they're just not there. It's saying, well, maybe it's time to invest and just rent. Because I mean, maybe that's controversial, but yeah, and go and rent the place that you can sort of pay that $1,200, and you can't make the modifications. It's hard to do that these days. You can't do that, so you can't call it your home. But maybe that's an opportunity. But people are loving it. People are saying, "Wow, full of great ideas, Jackie." What somebody wanted to say. Have you got the Logan, the Ipswich?
That's what I was bringing up there. So we do have someone was kind enough to pop it in the comments there. So if anyone wants to take that with them, go wild. But we've got it here. Maps. Just type in maps. Just maps Ipswich flood map. Yeah, flood map Ipswich, and it comes up again. A similar to, and it also shows you where the flood events. So there was major flood events in 21, 22, and 74, and it overlays there, so you can start to see that. But then you can dive in deeper on more levels.
Yeah.
So there is a question that's come up here, and I'm not sure if you can answer this one, Jackie. But maybe
is that the one you had, Joe?
Yeah, this one. Yeah. Why is North Booval?
It's not Booval, it's Booval, isn't it? It's Booval? Or how do you say
Booval? It's
Booval.
North
Okay,
Booval.
so we both got it wrong. I heard somebody saying Booval the other day. I'm like, it's not Booval. But yeah.
Well, it says Boo. So sorry,
Booval.
guys.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Why is it more of a...
So I didn't go with North Booval just because I thought the people wanted closer into the CBD kind of thing. I don't mind it out there. It is, like anywhere. Obviously, look at Logan's flood maps, Ipswich flood maps. It all bloody floods. You go to the Bayside, that floods too. Like, it's just the region where there's a lot of rivers and creeks and stuff going through it. So I don't mind Booval and North Booval. Pretty low socioeconomic area again. I don't know if you want to bring up the data for it.
Well, this is somewhat of the data, and I guess this is kind of talking. Why is the north part of North Booval more affordable than the south part? This red and yellow here is the social economic. So red being more bad, and then yellow being good. Sorry, and Ursad, which is the social economic, is slightly better, 2 to 3, whereas the red is 1. So it just means it's more socially. Like those pockets up there in North are going to have more housing commission, a higher renter percentage, and also based on the actual data for all the data for the census. So how much income do you make? Well, I only make, $2,000 a month. Great. A week or whatever the number is. So it's just going to be more affordable. So the people there can't push up the prices. And it's probably not as nice. But again, I mean, 3 years, 52% in the past 12 months, it's gone up 10%. So if you bought a $600,000 property there 12 months ago, it would be worth 66 grand more than 12 months ago. And the rents have grown, well, not very much, 1.4%.
Notoriously North Booval, that like a lot of Logan and stuff, it was dead for like 10 years. So all this stuff is due for it in terms of I have an opinion on why the property market's moving how it is, and I think it's got something to do with the inflation.
You want to unpack your opinion, Jackie? We can talk about it for a couple of minutes.
Okay. Well, I think even though obviously active property investor, I own my business and everything, I think the reason that the property market is so nuts is because our dollar's actually worth less. So it's all just a fugazi of, it's like, hey, your property market, it's gone up. Actually, no, your dollar's just worth less. So now it's gone up. So that's my opinion. Because you just look at even the cost of living and everything's just gone so cooked over the last 5 years. And I think it's, but that's why I don't believe it's going to go back, because it's kind of the same, I think the market's just a different beast than it was 10 years ago. I think it's changed fully now.
Yeah, I in terms of at least percentages, I can't see the percentages, despite how much money supply is potentially going to go up more. I don't see that you're going to continue to get that 10% on $600,000 properties, because that's, let's say 10% over, 10% year on year over 5 years on a 600K. That's $300,000. So 600,000 going to 900,000. In an area that's, maybe gentrifying, but it's not where necessarily a lot of owner occupiers will want to sort of flock out there unless it stays affordable. So once you start to see a little bit of slowdown, and that's where your strategy of picking up the deals where you're comfortable doing your reno. If you don't want to do a reno, then maybe these areas are going to be a little bit more challenging. But we should, great answer, Jackie. Thanks for answering. And people are.
And the other thing is the cost of building. The cost to replace that asset is going to cost $500,000 to do it. So being able to build a house, you're getting the land for free. Essentially, you're getting the land for $100,000. In pockets of Victoria, you're buying a house that you can't build today for the same amount of what you're purchasing it. So what are we going to dive into next, Jeff? Because we've got to jump to our first sponsor and then.
I know. Do we want to go? Who wants to go north side? Where do we want to go next? Because I feel we're. Yeah. What do we? And I know Jackie, and then we'll. Yeah. You've probably got a couple more areas, so stay tuned. But I want to talk about even how you think about tackling a reno project if people want to. Or where do we want to go, people? We'll
Oh, Jeff, I wish there was 3 investing books that covered everything property.
Oh, Joe, there is. Steve has 3 books now.
That I do, guys. I've got 3 books now. You probably don't even have to follow this group anymore. Just kidding. You want to keep seeing and hearing from me, of course, so stay involved. But in all seriousness, if you want to get the full picture of investing, residential, commercial, and development, these 3 books have you covered for the fundamentals. For OzProp members, here's the best part. I'm giving these books to you for free. Just cover the postage and I'll send them right to your door. Go to policeyproperty.com or click the link below and get your copies today. You can also get all my spreadsheets, checklists, and resources free on my website. Happy reading, gang.
Yeah, it's going to be a big session. We're just over 2 weeks away from our live event. Go and get on that, people, because I'm booking the after party soon. Self-funded, but go and meet the crew. The Oz Property. I've just popped the link. There's still a few tickets left, so jump in there. But Jackie,
so many people are coming to this thing. I've got so many people that I'm like, are you coming, Jackie?
No, I wanted to. I have I play netball and that's my bloody awards night. So it's kind of a conflict of interest. But next one for sure. I'll be there. Even if it's in bloody a different state, I'll come along.
Okay, we'll buy you a ticket for sure. So people, where do we, if we want to, while we're talking about the next suburbs in the north side, isn't that where do people want to unpack? I'm just going to go through the comments. Jackie, you probably have a couple more suburbs we could look at. I'm sure you're prepared.
It's all kind of around the same region though. It's like when you look at those areas, your surrounding suburbs are fine. I don't mind back to the townhouse kind of product. There is some, around that kind of Forest Lake area. Don't mind a couple of those townhouses. Like, obviously we're talking about like under 700, under 650, that kind of thing. So it's like, is there better locations with that budget? Potentially, obviously, you'd have to do your own research, but for something to get you into the market in Brisbane, that's never going to have a problem getting it rented and then potential to renovate. Yeah. So, I don't like that.
You love a townhouse reno, like just a nice little fixer
just a little
up.
Cosmetic, typically you don't have to do the kitchens and the bathrooms immediately, depends on the age of it. But even just doing like hybrid floors, paint blinds, electrical, comes up $1 million. It'll never have a problem being rented. Honestly, there's always going to be an affordable,
And what are your thoughts on okay, you've got 650,000. You can go further out and get another location, or you can get a townhouse. Like, what are your thoughts? How do you make that decision of choosing another location or a townhouse?
It's a good question.
I don't know. Every time we ever buy a property, it's just random. It's like, I found this deal. I want to buy this particular deal. So I'm probably not the best person to ask. Every time it's just like, cowboy show. But yeah, I don't know. I think Brisbane is a strong area. Like, it's one of the third biggest capital cities in Australia. It's got good potential. It's got the Olympics. I think it's got a lot. I think it's safe. Like, I think it's a safe kind of investment. Obviously, you could go to like regional towns like Rockhampton or Bundaberg or whatever, and they have their own kind of regional risks. But in terms of like affordable for a capital city, I think it's a safe bet, really.
Yeah, I'm trying to find areas in the north earth side. So I'm looking at the Kalangas, the Strathpines, the Bray Parks. It's just it's become so what
about Morayfield? How's Morayfield looking?
Yeah, but that's not even. I mean, is that really Brisbane?
It's almost the Sunshine Coast, honestly.
It's greater Brisbane. I'm trying to find somewhere in the. Because somebody pointed to Zillmere, and I know that suburb extremely well because it's.
There is a lot of townhouses in Zillmere.
Yeah,
there might be value there.
Yeah, I just don't know if there's a disparity between houses versus townhouses in Zillmere now, because most townhouses, even the two-bedders, are going for that low 600s, and you can buy a house there for sort of that 800, 850. So just for townhouses to keep growing, it depends on somebody's goal, because your rents are probably that 570 to 600 in maximum Zillmere. So yeah, you're sort of similar 4.5% yield. Where are we taking this, Joe? Where are we going?
So this is a fantastic tool done by, well, now Cotality, or whatever it is now. But this just shows you like the capital growth over the past 3 months and also the past 12 months. And, a whole heap of different pockets in Brisbane have had some incredible growth. But you can see here, like the north side of what we're talking about is Morayfield's quite close. Quite far away from Brisbane, but it's probably the area where it's going to be the most affordable if anyone's thinking about to kind of get more. It's Moreton Bay. Deception Bay is here. North Lakes is here. Bracken Ridge is then when you start to get into Brisbane Council.
Yeah.
But the last 3 months, these areas are still growing 0 to 3%. The pockets that are starting to start to taper off over on the western side, which is pretty interesting. 12-month change, most is green, but 3-month change, this area is starting to go red.
What's that?
Do you have
what's the red area? Where is it?
Indooroopilly, St. Lucia, Pullen Vale.
The unaffordable parts, I'd say. The inner city.
So expensive. Pullen Vale is so nice, though. Honestly, that's like I love Moggle, Pullen Vale. They're so beautiful.
Just not affordable though.
No, it's like $3 million.
Yeah, and also like, yeah, exactly. And then this may be a couple of sales that have thrown off the median, because we are looking at it from a percentage side of things.
An interesting one that Gaurav has mentioned, and it did spring to mind. I just don't think it's that affordable. Is Bracken Ridge, Joe? Remember when we were picking up those deals in Bracken at like 700 to 800, and that was like a couple of years ago now. And now it's almost cracking the million. So I
don't get it with the north side. Like, look at that.
People love it. It's closer to the airport, though, I suppose. Maybe.
Yeah.
No,
not a fan. But like, look at the rent return. It's just terrible. Like, we would get that rent for a crappy house in Woodridge, and then I don't get why the rents are so low on the north side. It's always been like that.
Yeah. Oh, well, don't talk to us about Victoria. Don't go to Victoria then if you're upset about this type of rental yield.
Yeah, I know. I've seen them. It's terrible.
Yeah, I mean, Ursad's going to be probably 5 or 6. I think if we look at
Brackenridge. I think Brackenridge is still a very well. It's kind of now. It was a hidden gem for quite some time, but it's now taken on. People are now starting to realize what it is. Like,
look at the affordability, Joe. It's probably about 35, maybe 40 years now.
45.
Yeah, just above 40. Yeah.
What about? I'm not that familiar with the north side, but have a look at Bald Hills, or is that?
Yeah, that was the other one that Gaurav mentioned. Gurav's got his finger on the pulse. Are you buying another property, Gaurav? He talks a mean game, but I think he might be in the market for another property. Are you looking, Gaurav?
It is a very small suburb, though, Bald Hills. So, like, it's not. It's kind of. Yeah, it's not massive. So, I mean, actually, it looks bigger on this map than I first thought.
Bold is bigger. Yeah. Ursad probably 5 or 6 again, I reckon.
Yep.
Yeah, 5. Yep. Vacancy is a little bit higher. What's the affordability as well, Joe, on that one? Because we're inventory it shows the challenge you're going to face. And Jackie, you've pointed it out. You brought us some gold where it's not going to cost you too much out of pocket. Whereas you start going to some of these north side, and you've pointed out again, you really it starts costing you that 15 to 20,000, maybe 25,000 a year to hold, assuming you're going in at 80 to 85% LVR. So it's just, if you're on a really good income, maybe it's something to consider. But it's not. I wouldn't say it's affordable.
Yeah, that gets old real quick. Being so negative, I'll tell you now. Like, once you got a couple of them in your portfolio, it's like, this thing sucks. Like, why did I buy this? So you'd have to mitigate it with some serious, like, manufactured cash flow deals you got to balance out the portfolio. But if that's your first one, that's going to hold to your serviceability and all kinds of stuff. So,
well, I mean, just what you've said there is half the reason why. Why this $500,000, $600,000, $700,000 market is so frothy, because people just can't. They don't want to be that negative. And when the biggest cost is the debt, right? 6%. Every $100,000 you take on at 6% interest is going to cost you $6,000 additionally for every 100,000. So that quickly starts to eat up as you get to 700, 800, 900, $1 million. So. Yeah, it doesn't give you the income for it, and becomes very, very negatively cash flowed. But again, it's also, is it going to grow in capital? Like, is it going to grow in capital value? So, like Bracken Ridge, for instance, has grown 10% in the past year. Bald Hills, but that's off $900,000. So
close to 80 to 90,000 roughly. Yeah, but then can you hold it? So it comes down to your strategy piece. Like, what is your brief? You buy a brief. So yeah. Jackie, like I've been super amazed. You've gone, the crowd's going wild. We've still got, I think we've got 150 people watching. This is sessions going off, as Joe says, like a frog in his sock.
This surprised me. I was telling all my friends, I was like, quick, get on. I just want to make it look like there's, 20 people watching.
No, there's no renter crowd happening here. But no, definitely. It's very interesting, and it's sort of telling, because people said Brisbane was sort of finished, but I think that Olympics vibe plus the rate cuts, it's the second win, because particularly where people that grant as well. So Jackie, what do you want to take us to? We'll throw to another sponsor, Joe, and then do you want to take us to another area or two, and then or maybe one more area, and then we'll do a wrap up on some value add tips, because that you are the queen of renovation.
Thank you.
Everywhere you look, someone else is making money in property except for you. Your mate, he just bought a house. It's already gone up $100,000. There's some bloke on Facebook, he's bragging about pulling in a 7% rental yield. Meanwhile, you're stuck scrolling real estate and domain, confused as hell and having no idea about where to start. Or maybe you're that mate that's got $100,000 in equity. You have a few properties under your belt, but you feel stuck. You're unsure about how to scale without over-leveraging and not knowing what the next right move is. So why does it feel like everyone else has some kind of secret that you're missing out on? It's because they do. There's a reason some people keep stacking properties while others sit on the sidelines stacking excuses. There's a reason why some investors buy under market value while others pay too much. There's a reason why investors know the hot spots before there's any heat. And there's a reason that some people build $150,000 in passive income while others just spend years thinking about it. And it comes down to knowledge. And that's exactly why Jeff Miles and I, Joe Tucker, created the Level Up Property course to hand you the exact step-by-step process that we've used to buy over $100 million worth of property in today's market. We've built Australia's largest property investment community with over 80,000 members, and we help everyday investors secure hundreds of thousands of dollars in equity, all without wasting years of their life trying to figure it out the hard way. Making an uneducated decision on the biggest purchase in your life is just gambling with your future.
Stop it. Get some help.
And this isn't just another how to buy property course. Let's be clear though, this course isn't free. What? And neither should it be. This is our life's work. We've spent over 100 hours each on this course alone. Oh, babe. Okay, video number 3. Number 4 with million does... Fuck. Done. We've got decades of experience, millions of dollars in deals distilled into a repeatable process that you can take away for yourself. If you're looking for free advice, there's plenty of noise out there. You can go and find that if you'd like. But if you want real, actionable, step-by-step guided process that works in today's market, then this investment is going to change everything for you. By the time that you finish this course, you will have full confidence. You'll have every tool that you need to build an amazing portfolio if you act on it, right? Which is why we have mentoring built in. So we kick you up the butt to make sure that you're kicking your goals. So the real question is, how much longer are you going to watch everyone else making money in property before you jump in and start playing the property game properly? Because the sooner you start, the sooner you start winning.
And we're back. For those, I was going to say, for those who want to throw some questions, because we've probably got about 15, 20 left, just mindful of, we sort of run these at an hour and a half these days, Jackie, to be respectful of people's guests. But where are we going before we sort of get to Reno Queen?
I've kind of just gone back to Logan. I don't mind this. 7 Kerry, Kerry Court, Eagleby.
Okay, Eagleby. Yep.
Yeah, similar to kind of what I said initially, but again, this is kind of big block, 3-1. You got granny potential, reno potential. It'll be negative geared if you buy it at low 7s. Like this will probably rent for like $595 or something. So quite negative, but the block size is 890. So you got granny flat potentials, maybe potential duplex site, something like that. So
that'd be a tougher one to duplex, I reckon, because of the block shape. Unless you like, What do you reckon, Joe?
The frontage is actually huge.
Yeah, is it a cul-de-sac? Oh, court. Yeah. I like this for a granny fat though, potentially. Because where do you reckon you put the granny down the? Just trying to see the street side, Jackie. You reckon, and just maybe could you put it? Is it possible to put another driveway in there? Or
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
You can do anything in Logan City Council if you pay them.
What was the buying price on that one again, Joe? Did you say 599?
No, it said low sevens.
Oh, okay.
That's so crazy. We bought a property in Eagleby for like 531.
Remember that one in Veronia, Joe, for
480.
Yeah.
That was so much fun. That Boronia Heights job.
That was 460, Joe. We got it for, and then with the reno, because it needed 20K or so of reno.
Do you remember, Joe? The client was like questioning whether or not to buy it. And you're like, "Oh, can you have a chat to her about the reno?" And then now she looks back, she's like, "Yeah, that was like the best thing ever."
For 475, it's now valued at 710,000. That's grown $235,000. And we purchased it. But this is like the funny thing is like these numbers that we're throwing out. Like it's just you just got to buy the right properties at the right time. And I know that sounds like a bit dicky. Obviously, that's what you got to do. But it's never easy. Like that exactly. Like it's grown $235,000. At the time, that person, it's like, oh, we've got to negotiate another $3,000 off. I'm like, we've negotiated $10,000 off or whatever it was. We're not going to get that extra $3,000. We're gonna have to walk away.
And she was talking about walking away, and you and I were like, let's just get rid of this client. Let's buy it together.
Well, yeah. I mean, I reckon I probably would have the capacity to buy that one.
No, but honestly, like it's scary. But then when you look at it, when you look at it in the future, you're like, wow, I was almost going to throw that deal away, and it was such a good deal, but it was scary at the time.
Yeah. What do we want to unpack in North? Because Nadine has said, I just listened to an hour on Southside Talk for a 7-minute. Well, that's where Northside's not that affordable, Nadine. So we're giving you guys what's on the tin, but some really value. Thank you. Love the comments section as well. There's literally nearly 300 comments. I don't know if I've ever seen more comments. Maybe just what do you want to see North? What do you want to see Northside, Nadine? Let us know, and we'll do one more before.
What about some townhouses in Northside around that like Tagum area? Oh, what's that? Albany Creek. Let's have a look at Albany Creek.
Yeah, hashtag's a little bit funny for townhouses. So we could look at realestate.com for the townhouse starter, Joe, and just have a look and see what it's. Go to the suburb profile for Albany Creek, and then we'll see. There's not a lot for sale, is it?
Oh.
Yeah, for the suburb.
Oh,
for the house. Look at the. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so there's about roughly a 300K discrepancy between the yield's not that great though, 4%, Jackie. So you're not, and that's if you're buying the average property though. So 33 days on market. So people are still buying houses more frequently than they're buying townhouses. In Albany Creek at least
at $1 million range.
And the yields actually. Sorry, go, Joe.
You're not bad. But this is the interesting thing about the difference between units and townhouses and 12.8% capital growth off a massive base. So $1 million at 12%. So that's grown
100,000 roughly.
Yeah, $120,000. And this one here is at 788, and it's up 8%. So I don't know the math on that.
So you need to do the number before, because you're including you're 107% of the thing, Joe. So I'm just explaining math to you in public. So it would have started at about 720. So it's grown about 60 or 70,000 roughly. So it would have started about, look at the you don't need to guess. You just look at the graph. Look at January or look at August of, there you go, 725. So it's grown, roughly 65,000.
Yeah, and I guess that's the point, right? Like, is how much, like, people are like, oh yeah, I'm going to go a townhouse. Yeah, but not if your core focus is growth, because what grows in value is land. Land is all of this stuff. And why are townhouses starting to move in value? Well, there is a lot smaller land component to townhouses. But why is a townhouse in Newtown in Sydney so expensive? Because that's premium land. So I totally agree. Like, I think the townhouse market is going to have, it's already having a resurgence. It's not like I'm telling you anything that you guys aren't seeing it out there, but townhouses are going to start to really take off. But just remember, from a long-term aspect, it's the capital growth that matters. So yes, 788,000, 788,000 times another 8%, that's 55 grand, or, 1,100,000, or even just 788,000 times by the 8%. Like, yeah. Sorry. I feel like I've butchered this point.
Yeah. Well, the point is as well, Joe, can you buy $1 million asset? Can you afford to hold it? So,
no, that's why I was like, this is a shit example, because yes, 12% is $120,000, but who cares, because you're not going to be able to afford to hold it. But if you go out to another, like if you start looking at Ipswich, if you start looking at Toowoomba, you start looking at further afield, areas that still have solid fundamentals, maybe there's still opportunity there.
Yeah.
If I was going to buy something for $1 million, I'd try and get like multi-tenancy, like out at like North Booval and those kind of areas. You could historically get a whole unit block, not individually titled, one title, but you own the whole block. Yeah, you could strata title them, but if you're going to spend $1 million, but then that's the difference between it. It's like it's a matter of, but is it better to just buy something for $650, or are you better to keep saving? But if you're not in the market, you're missing out on that growth. So it's very specific.
Yeah. Davo Toledo said, any suggested suburb for a standalone house under 600K in the north side? I'm sorry, Dave or Davo. You're really struggling there. Like even in north side, yeah. I think for me, 600K, even south side, sort of Logan way, you're starting to really sort of scrape the barrel for under 600. You're going to have to start looking out in Ipswich or Toowoomba potentially as well. If you're picking up an asset at that 600K mark, north side, I would strongly recommend getting a Pesson building on that property, because there's probably, and you can probably see it is almost probably land value at that price. So you just need to roll your sleeves up and get ready for a reno if you're looking at 600K north side for a house.
Yeah, and I guess if we were to mention some of the, now, like we say, like there's not that much affordable, but like the areas where there is more affordability, I guess, is areas like Deception Bay, Burpengary
on the left. The south side of the highway is probably, the north side. The north side is where it's more affordable, more housing.
Yeah, a lot.
That's had a run in Deception Bay. Honestly, that's been massive.
I've got a property in Deception Bay, and I just look at it and I'm like, I can't believe you guys are valuing this at this. This is such a piece of crap. And how did the one just next door sell for so much more? But you just need to hold them.
Yeah,
I don't live there.
So, Jackie, I promised a bit of reno chat, and we may have time for one more suburb as well. So what your sort of top tips for, you talked about getting that first property reno for 30K. What sort of things do people need to be looking at and getting sorted to run a really great reno?
Okay, so like I said before, a lot of these houses in these regions built in the 80s and 90s. So if you can avoid, you've got a couple of options. I think entry level to renos would be like your cosmetic reno, which would be full internal paint that freshens it all up, ceilings, trims, and walls. Replacing the floors, typically, I think it's worth the difference in pricing to just go hybrid throughout it all. Sometimes if it's got timber floors, you'll send them back. Small electrical upgrades. So for example, a lot of these houses just have like one bulb light in the bedroom. It's like replace that with a ceiling fan light combo, a modern one. One in Queensland, obviously it's hot as you want a ceiling fan in all the bedrooms anyway. And two, it modernizes it for like $300. So those are the small little things you can do to, freshen it up. But from a rental perspective, I always think of it as in you don't want anything in the house that's a detraction. Like they don't want to come in and be like, man, that bath is disgusting, or that bathroom's like literally falling apart, and then not rent it. So first step is have nothing that is a distraction or like detraction that is going to cause someone to not take it. Two is like that little cosmetic reno. Like you can, that's what we did at that Boronia Heights one. You can pump them out for like under 20 grand realistically. But I'd say like as a blanket rule for most properties built, if they're untouched and you've owned them as like right now, you probably doing that should get like a 60 to 80K uplift just from the presentation side of it. I think that would be pretty feasible in most suburbs. Spending 20K, you should get that uplift if it's original.
Yep. Yeah. And do you still see, is it very hard to find, like, I know you presented a couple of deals you found online. Is it harder to find those renos these days compared to 3 or 4 years ago? Have they been?
Depends who you have relationships with. It's just a relationship game. Like I went to a project the other day with my friend Braden Curry and put it this way, it was so bad, we laughed, but we couldn't buy it. It was literally just the shell of a brick house and had been eaten out with termites. The subfloor had fallen in, the roof had caved in, and there were obviously hoarders before because there was piles of rubbish. And then I got there, he'd already been there. He's like, I think it's too much. I'm like, nah, bullshit. This is, and it was in Eden's Landing, a nice suburb as well. And then we had a look and we're like, this is too, like, you'd have to knock it down. But yeah, to get those, you have to have long-term agent, not even long-term, because it's like you just call the agent once a week, build the relationship. Like you want to be memorable to the agent so that they're like, oh, I love Joe. Joe's a cool guy. I want to work with Joe. Joe, I got this deal. That's how you get things done in this industry, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. It's so funny. I see people trying to strong arm real estate agents and be a dickhead about everything, and they suffer that all day, every day. And when you come up to them and are friendly and are nice and are specific for what you actually want, like Jackie, you would go. I mean, you go up to an agent and say, "Hey, I'm looking for a renovator. Anything between 600 to 700,000, my cup of tea." And then the rest will just be a bit of a chit chat about property and the market and stuff like that. And they'll remember you. And it makes all the difference. Any other little hacks and tips that you use?
I like the reminders and the filters where you can save the filters in realestate.com. So if a property does pop up in your price bracket, like that's how, like one of our properties we bought, I got a realestate.com notification. This is back in 2017. I got it in Kmart and I showed my friend. I was like, oh, look at this place. This is cool. Mortgagee in possession, no bathroom, no kitchen. It was messed up. And we just sold that house last year for $815. We bought it for $350. So it's like those, and that was a realestate.com notification. And I was onto that so fast.
Yeah, speed kills. I think that it's the most important thing you can do as an investor. Like crazy. If you move fast, you would be well ahead of the game.
Yeah, and don't make the contract complicated, guys. Like get it under contract and then you can, like that house, we had to get 6 finance extensions. It was embarrassing.
Oh, how did that? Oh, I suppose, how did that conversation go?
Well, because I told the broker, I was like, yeah, it's kind of messed up, like this and that. I'm like, maybe like 30 grand for renos. And then the valuer went out. He's like, this house is like not livable. So we had, I think we had like 70K cash at the time. And then we had to call aunties and stuff. And then it wasn't our first property, so we had to pay stamp duty. It was a nightmare. And then eventually we got it over the line. But yeah, we had to get 6 finance extensions. It was really embarrassing. But get it under contract, guys, because it's like you can, once it's under contract, you build the relationship with the agent, get it under contract so they know you're serious. But once it's under there, like you can be supportive with your solicitor to negotiate on the building and pest, get finance extensions within reason. Obviously try and be pre-approved, but
I'll just put a caveat out there. In WA and in Victoria, be very careful just getting deals under contract because you just want to, because Victoria, my understanding, they have Queensland. Yes, there's a very lenient pest and building clause. But Victoria, you've effectively, my understanding, the standing clause is it has to be structural to kind of negotiate, Joe, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's two different clauses that different agents use. The majority of agents use the structural defect. It has to be a structural defect in the pest and building. Otherwise, you won't be able to pull out of the deal. So just be wary going into that. And also, the agents are very aware of, like, because I think like some markets have boomed recently, and agents weren't necessarily across all the rules, like how buyers would screw them over on the pest and building. In Victoria, there's a lot of like well-established older agents there, and they know the game. So there's no they've seen it all before. So
they've seen buyers
know
agents.
Well, not buyers agents, just people trying to get the negotiation piece. Like I don't go into a deal and we never overpay. And like what I'm hearing is people are paying like 10, 20 grand to get the deal under contract, hoping to negotiate on the pest and building. And like, and then they end up losing the deal, wasting everybody's time. You can't go in with that mindset. Go in with where the value is. But yeah, different states, different rules.
Yeah, Queensland, I tend to. Yeah, this one's an interesting one because I wanted to get your guys' opinions on this. Do you guys I think I know what you do, Joe, but what about you, Jackie? What do you think about interest only versus principal and interest?
We have 2 on interest only, and then I'm paying the principal on 4 of them at the moment. And our principal place of residence is principal and interest.
It's hard to get.
But also, I'm self-employed, so it's very hard for me to. I've kind of structured my stuff because my daughter's still in daycare. She goes to school next year, so I've kind of structured my stuff so my borrowing does not look that good. So we got one that's on like 7.26% still, because one, I haven't been bothered to refinance, but it's we need to refinance that. So don't take my advice on it. It's not that good. But most of them are on like 6%, to be honest now.
That's good to hear the reality of the situation, though, rather than just saying, because, Joe, we got that. Was it the unit block? We got, I think, 7.2% originally, and it's now probably come down to about 6.8 odd.
No, it didn't come down. We refinanced out, I thought.
Because you got to 80% LVR, didn't you? Which then meant CBA.
The value increased.
I've been fluctuating on how I feel about debt recently as well. So I'm really focused on actually paying off our principal place of residence. That's been a real dream of ours that I want to do that. And that's not logically, it probably would make more sense to deploy that into investment properties, sell them down and then do it that way.
Well, what you can do though, Jackie, and you probably know this is not taxation advice, go and speak to your accountant, but very generally speaking, you can debt recycle. So you pull that equity out of the PPOR, and then depending on the structure you buy it in, you can then sort of recycle that and turn it into deductible debt. You're probably not unwise.
It could be structured better, but that's kind of our plan at the moment. And it's just kind of like a freedom thing in my head. And with me and my husband, we just want to own our family home outright. So that's kind of,
but you've got you've got the portfolio. So you could easily pay sell the half of the portfolio and then be debt free on the.
Yeah, we could do it now, but we're kind of on our current trajectory. Maybe 18 months, 2 years, we'll actually pay it out without having to sell anything else. So that's kind of the plan. We're kind of knuckling down, going back to, but we've struggled in the past with, we've just been so focused on our goals that we haven't, we've never been overseas together. Me and my husband, we've been together 13 years, never been overseas. We've done some domestic stuff. But now it's okay, time to start, delayed gratification, time to actually start enjoying it a little bit. So we've kind of done that. But it's been extreme as well of I don't know, I feel like you can balance it better.
Have you gone extreme and treated yourself, have you?
Pardon?
Did you say you've gone extreme and now treated yourself way too much?
No. We've just only started planning overseas trips, but we've previously just been so tight with spending as minimum as we can, saving, reinvesting it, investing back in the business that we have kind of delayed the gratification. It's time to actually enjoy it a bit more, I think now.
Yeah, we're gonna throw in questions now, people. We'll get to those. There's a juicy one. Everybody, we've had about 18 questions of this in the group. So I think with the 5%, we spoke about this earlier. Skyman, the Renaissance man last week. Now we got Skyman, the Skyman from above. Anyway, no, sorry, shouldn't probably offended some people there. Sorry. With the 5% deposit assistance from government from October, what happens if they remove CGT discount from January next year? Well, if they remove that, I think it's extremely unlikely, first off, Skyman. I don't see it happening because like I think you would really annoy a significant number of people if I mean I can't say it won't happen, but I think they've been talking about that for the last as long as I've been in property, so 15 years now. 2010 I started getting really interested in property. They've been talking about negative gearing, getting rid of CGT discount. They've talked about it all. A lot of it hasn't happened. Most of it hasn't happened. Land tax in some states happened. So I don't. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I am. I mean, the talk is definitely heating up, though. Like it's been always, it's been kind of always floated around, but it does feel a little bit more serious now and then. And yes, if they do remove capital gains tax and if they do scrap negative gearing, it is not going to be great for the property market. But the problem is the people that vote are the ones that have properties and that are going to be infected by these things. So you introduce something like this, you're not.
Well, they wouldn't be that stupid to remove it for everyone. They would only remove it for investors. So and the greedy investors are taking properties away. You could make a pretty strong case for doing it. So if I was a politician,
I hate that argument though. Like with the politics of it. Sorry if I offend anyone, but it's like that the investors are taking away housing. It's like we're actually creating housing for people. We're creating a product that someone can rent, and it's like a business transaction where it's like a full cycle where we're providing the housing, people are renting it, you look after the house, we pay the mortgage. Yeah, I don't know where it's gone so twisted that it's like investors are the villain in this. It's I don't see it like that.
Somebody's got to be the villain, Jackie. The homeowner can't be the villain because there's too many of them. So I think we'll finish on this question and it's not a 2-minute question, unfortunately. First-time investors, you may need hashtag again. We have I think, Jackie, you've probably got already some ideas in your mind on this. We have 10 years for growth, have 850 to buy, was hoping for a house. Are we too late for Brisbane? Well, it depends on what is this your first home? The comment I pulled ages ago, but if it's your first home, I mean, depends on what you're looking to achieve. If you're looking for kind of a shorter term growth, maybe there's still some opportunity up there in Brisbane. What do you reckon, Jackie? Would you sort of, depending on?
Well, I saw in the comments and we said we'd talk about it. What about you bring up Tanamera, Joe?
Oh, Tanamera. Okay. Can you get something for 850 in Tanamera still?
I would say possibly.
I remember we bought that one for, was that 620 we bought that for?
26 Sambit is 26 Sambit. I love this deal.
That's been a great little property, honestly.
Yeah, you can.
Look at that. Bought that for that was the rent. Yeah, 590,000. It's now worth 810. It's a nice little set and forget. Has the granny flat potential, ability to convert to a fourth bed as well.
I think we renewed that lease at $640 a week, actually.
But here is so the question is 850. So I've done real estate and gone up max 850 minimum. Well, I've had no minimum, so I should probably, I don't know. Yeah, let's just leave that 400 meter square minimum.
I've done
house. So there is some opportunity. These surround ones, there's going to be something going on with Bracken Ridge at these amounts. These are ridiculous.
That's what's going on.
Yeah, 830. What is that?
Yeah.
That's super interesting, but it wouldn't.
That's three by one though, Joe.
Yeah, it's a 3-1.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about Deception Bay, Kalangara, Petrie, Launton, Bray Park. No, not Bray Park. And then you start going up into the Moray fields, much more available.
What about the Bayside? Go down to have a look at like Cabalaba, Wynnum, that kind of. That's such a beautiful area. Honestly, it's so nice.
Go Bayside. We've neglected it. Sorry, Baysiders.
I know. I wanted to talk about it, but it's not really affordable either.
Yeah, there's nothing there. Look, this piece of land is 850.
Well, it's submit all offers, so I mean, it's up to 850. That's the thing. I don't.
Houses in that area. A friend of mine just bought one for 720 or something in Wynnum, modern 3-2 townhouse.
Okay, so Tanamera. So this is the 850 search. So can we get something in Tanamera? Potentially.
We haven't looked at the data, people. So just go and run your own numbers and do all that. I mean, Tanamera is heavily owner occupied. So
why are we looking at this? Why are we looking at Tanamera, Jackie?
It was just it's kind of a nice suburb that I think has got further room to grow. What about Eden's Landing? That'll just be a little bit further down as well.
Yeah.
Bayview's a nice street. I think it's got views on that street.
I think, is that on the low side of the street? We got to, because you got the Is that an issue being on the low? I mean, I imagine it would be because the
Flood
water would
zone.
flow down.
Where am I going? Eden's Landing.
Yeah, down.
Yeah,
There's
down
almost
there.
nothing.
Eden's Landing's like 80% owner occupier. Like, look at that, 780. Go back to that.
That looks like a for sale by owner. Yeah,
Good.
it is. Oh, no, it's not.
Yeah,
It's a big
sometimes
hill.
they can be good. Owners are
Yeah.
people too. You can buy it off.
Oh,
them.
yeah, I know, but
Oh, definitely. They're the best. They're
It's a
freaking nightmare
nightmare
to
to
deal with.
negotiate. No, that one in Rockingham's still for sale, Joe. We might be able to buy it now for 580 or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Karen. Karen's got it.
But something
like
like
how-
that, honestly, that'd
it's
rent
like
for
1,200 squares. How much?
Big block, yeah. Interesting. Wonder why it's under offer. There you go. Okay. So I'd be curious to see what that one sold for. But yeah, it's annoying. They don't in Queensland. There's so many lack of prices in Queensland.
It's terrible. That's what the one thing I like about Victoria is. I like their transparency in the price ranges. Yeah, honestly, but you can get in big trouble. I've got a friend with an agency down there. Guys, if you're looking for a great property manager, Jay, she owns Equity Property Management in Victoria. Very good. But she was
What
telling
part of
me
Victoria? It's a big bloody place.
Not as big as Queensland, but
Mornington Peninsula or something, I think.
yeah, geez. Which part of are you talking? We talking Frankston Way or Frango Way? We going further down?
Jackie's got no idea.
Okay,
Don't know.
are we talking down? Nice.
Yeah, but she was saying that if you underprice it or something in Victoria, you can get big fines because if you sell it for a percentage over, you're like
10%. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can still kind of get away with it, but I mean, yeah, it's what can you demonstrate? Like if you price that, you got to have the section 32. Is it section 32, Joe? In Vic, which has the properties, the comparable, how they've priced that property. The section 32 gives you those numbers and the different things. And then what will happen is, obviously, if you're comparing it to properties that aren't relevant, and then it sells for $200,000 above, and it's a $600,000 property, questions will get asked, I imagine. Whereas if you've compared it to similar properties and that 10%, and you've just had 80 people come along, how can you control that? I mean, I don't know how you can.
I prefer not having any prices because it just it just sets an expectation. Yeah, because people don't you've got to then go out there and do the research and find out what the price is actually worth. So if you see a property that's listed for $700,000, it's going to flood people to this open home, and the agent knows it's going to go for $800,000. But everyone gets so excited, so they underquote it and then they go there. So that sucks. It's so annoying and such a waste of time. But if you know the market, like you do, Jackie, you see a price and it's like, great, that's a $700,000 property. I'll go buy that. But I guess if you're just scrolling through real estate, I could understand why it would be a little bit frustrating to try and wrap your head around the market. Yeah.
All right, Jackie, is there anything we should have asked you on this podcast? Because I'm mindful of your time, we're at an hour 40. We could,
should have asked. No, I don't know. No. Is there anything else you want to ask me?
Flown by, hasn't it? And we still have, I think we still have like 80, more in excess of 80 people watching the stream. So it's, people are saying, Jackie, you're a gun. Love these stories. So tell me your story. Good on you, Jackie. Go and enjoy. People have, I'm feeling it's definitely been vibrant this session, which it's fun to have a location based session for a change to mix it up again. But yeah,
love it.
So,
how do people get more Jackie in their life, mate? How do we get more Jackie?
So you can reach out to me at My Logan Realty, or on Facebook or whatever. But everyone knows that I'm happy to have a chat. So if you've got a property or whatever and you want to brainstorm any opportunity for me to, not do my job and just talk about property, I will do that. So if you want to talk renos or need trades or whatever, Brisbane, let me know. But yeah, I'm just trying to be helpful in general. So feel free to call me, chat, and go from there.
I've had a comment about what are thoughts on Eagleby, Beanley, and Omero or Ormeo. Sorry, Ormo. Go and have a watch. We definitely chatted to Eagleby several times and Beanley a little bit as well. So go and have a look back at the replay, Amit. She does. You do quite like Eagleby and Beanley. Omero. Monroe. Yep. But yeah, thanks for coming on. Folks, we want to get this message out to as many people as we can. So jump on the Spotify, give us that 5-star. We want to get more stories, location, the best people having those conversations. So I'm angling getting a few economists on, because it's economists struggle to go live because they don't want to be seen to be giving. Yeah, they want to understand. But anyway, that's okay. Jackie, thank you. Amazing session. Really appreciate the value you've added, and just thanks for coming on. It's always fun to talk to you about property.
Yeah, appreciate
thanks for having me, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, mate. Let's go buy a property, guys. See you later.
Yeah, go buy something.
Go and buy affordable property as well. Thanks, team.
Yeah.
Go buy. Bye.